promoter. Here are we going to get into comments made by Cardi B, who has expressed some discontent over the current dating pool.
Oh,
According to according to according to newly single for like the second or third time, but I guess this time it's permanent. Cardi B is not happy with the dating pool, and she's co-signing the notion that there's piss in it. So, um, here we go with some of these people unmuting when it comes to relationship stuff. But this says Cardi B jokes that the dating pool has piss in it. Cardi
oh,
B shared a hot take on the dating scene on X, formerly Twitter, on early Monday morning. In doing so, she shared a post from a user who wrote, "Dating is absolutely terrible. I found out an N word still was with his baby mother. Stopped talking to him instantly. Met someone else. Vibes was way too good. I ended up saying something ain't right. You got a girlfriend? This N word say, why does that matter? Oh my, oh my effing God." Cardi added to the post, "I'm telling you, the dating pool got piss in it." Fans mostly agree with Cardi in the replies to her posts. "It's like finding the best shopping cart at Walmart. It's bad," one user wrote. Another wrote, "That's a relatable sentiment. Finding genuine connections can be tough in today's dating scene. It's like navigating through a lot of noise to find something worthwhile." Others brought up Cardi's ex Offset. Cardi's latest post comes after filing for divorce from Offset earlier this year. She's ranted about the Migos rapper on several occasions in the months since. Event, even, I think that's a typo, even recently begging someone to take him off her hands. "Bro, I wish the worst on this man. I never hated somebody so much, and these bitches be so thirsty to have him. Please take this man off my hands. This garbage bag is too heavy." Check out Cardi's latest post about her dating life below. It comes as she continues to prepare for her long-awaited sophomore album, which she's promised fans would drop this year. So there's the post there. I'm telling you, the dating pool got piss in it, and she was reacting to what I read earlier. Not gonna read it again. That's enough self-muting for the next 10 to 15 minutes, I would say. Uh, but what do you make about Miss Cardi B's assertion that the dating pool got piss in it? You agree?
um, I mean, yeah, I would say that. I would say it's more like toxic waste. Not just bodily fluids. I think the market out there is awful, but she wanted to be in the streets, and this is speaks to the tail end of our last discussion when I was like, you can be in the streets if you want to. Everybody thinks the streets are so glamorous. They think it's so they romanticize it. Once they finally get into a situation that's stable, they skin start itching and going, man, I just wanna be back out there. It was so much fun. That's what people, it's like an addict. And it was like, you work so hard to get off this drug. You're finally off of it. And now you're yearning of the days of getting that high again. It's like an opioid, seriously. And so once these people leave the streets, they're out of it for a year or two. Their skin starts to crawl, and then they got to go right back out there. And then once again, they start to find out that the game is dirty. Those drugs is getting cut all kinds of ways. You're getting these dirty highs. Your head hurt. You feel sick. You're nauseous, and all these other things, all these side effects of this drug that you said that you loved. And so now you get that harsh reality of, damn, it was safer in the house. You know, now you want to talk to this person here, and you can't trust them. You're looking for that smooth, debonair, well dressed, smells good man, and you finally meet the guy, and well, he can't seem to keep it in the pants. But the reason is because every woman smells him, sees him, and see his money, just like you. And he's going to have his pick of the litter, and you're going to be reminded of that harshly. He's not going to leave the market for your ass. Why would he? You'll be ready to hit the streets in 2 years anyway. So there needs to be a change in mentality. These women need to recognize that the streets don't love you and ain't nothing but toxic sludge out there. So you can romanticize it all if you want, you know. But once you got yourself off the market because you was feeling this person, whoever you were feeling, you need to make sure that you fight to keep that. It's safe, it's secure, and it keeps you out of trouble. But there's nothing but trouble in the streets. So Cardi B is getting a very harsh reality, a tough pill to swallow, if you will, for her apparently. And Tia Mowry doing the same thing, just out here crying on every episode of her show, you know, reminiscent of the good days when she was married and hollering that this single life, dating life ain't what it's all cracked up to be.
Oh,
Newsflash.
say it ain't so.
Yeah, newsflash, man.
Not Tia, not
Yeah.
Tia.
Oh yeah. So hey man, so all these people out there that want to sit there and romanticize the streets, y'all can have it. Me personally, I'd rather stay safe indoors in the house. But what are your thoughts, sir, on Miss Cardi B having a harsh reality here, saying that the dating pool's got urine in it? What are your thoughts?
Yeah, I think she needs to look in the mirror and gain some self awareness. Her and women who talk like her,
That's right.
they are responsible for their own misfortunes. And you know, to anybody who follows along with us on the channel, this isn't the first time. You know, to anyone who's new here, this may be the first time that you are seeing us talk about this. But to anyone who's followed along with us throughout pretty much the history of this channel, we tend to cover this often. The reason why I cover it often, there's a reason for it. It's not that I'm trying to just do something over and over again because we're experiencing a dearth of ideas. There's a reason for it. We do it to show the pathology of people and how, at the end of the day, what you're dealing with is your responsibility and your responsibility alone. Cardi B is sounding a lot like Shaq, but in reverse. Last week we talked about Shaq, who said that he is going to be single for the rest of his life. He said essentially that he is going to die alone, and the reason why he said that he would die alone is because women have a whimsical nature. I'm paraphrasing here because Shaq don't use words like that, but essentially what Shaq said was women's nature is too whimsical for him, and they change too much, and they say they want certain things, but they don't. When they get what they want from a man, they complain about it, and it leads to the deterioration of the relationship. And he's just tired of dealing with that, and is just going to be single for the rest of his life. He says women say they want honesty, but when you give them honesty, they get upset, and back and forth, back and forth. So Shaq essentially said, "I'm going to be single because women don't know what they want." He blamed women basically for the reason why he was going to be single for the rest of his life, as if to suggest that if women were to change, he wouldn't be single for the rest of his life. The week before that, we talked about Safari, who made a 30-minute video on YouTube exposing the abusive nature of the mother of his children, Erica Mena. Now, don't get me wrong, this woman is responsible for her behavior. You do not put hands on another human. She needs to be held accountable for that. She looks like she has some serious anger management issues. But Safari was trying to curry favor for the predicament that he finds himself in without acknowledging. Well, he did to a certain degree, but to me, he didn't acknowledge it a lot. That had he made different decisions to begin with, he wouldn't be dealing with this in the first place, i.e., choose to be with somebody different, exhibit better judgment. So there's an ongoing thread that I'm seeing, not just with famous people, but with regular people who find themselves in this relationship, you know, predicament where they feel as though the dating pool has piss in it, and they project their problems onto the opposite sex in most cases, saying that the reason why they are in this particular circumstance is because of the other person. Cardi B saying, I'm in the dating pool is pissy. There's piss in it. These men are trash. Shaq is saying, oh, I'll be single for the rest of my life because women do whatever. Angel Reese on that very same conversation telling people to teach men how to be men, as if her relationship status is entirely contingent upon this notion that men need to learn how to be men. Angel Reese, you need to learn how to be a better chooser.
What?
Shaq, you need to learn how to exhibit better judgment and be honest. The rest of these, it's the same thing. Cardi B, you're in the same boat, sweetheart. You're single because of your choices, not because the dating pool entirely is pissy. And I would agree with you that the dating pool is pissy, but it's largely pissy because of people's decisions, not because it is within our general nature to just be shardy. Um, to the comment that she responded to, which sparked this whole thing online, where she said that the dating pool has piss in it. That woman sounds like she listens to Cardi B. Whoever this individual is, this person who made the initial tweet, this 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 the avatar, I don't even know the handle, underscore XJ. I don't even know what that is. But the avatar is a black female. She was the one talking all of this mess. Dating is absolutely terrible. I found out an N word was still with his baby mama. Vibes was way too good. Something ain't right. You got a girlfriend. The N word said, why does that matter? She sounds like she listens to these people. She sounds like she listens to Lotto, Sexy Red, Megan Thee Stallion, Glorilla. She sounds like she listens to these people. Cardi B. Listen, ladies, you want to not deal with a terrible dating scene? You want to give yourself a better chance at being successful? How about you make a more concerted effort to be with a man who doesn't refer to himself as an N-word? Your partner should be your man, your boyfriend, your husband, your mate, your partner, not your N-word. What is that? Same thing with us as men. Your girl should be your wife, your girlfriend, your lady, your woman, your chick. She shouldn't be your bitch. She shouldn't be your whole, like, the word bitch should not be synonymous with woman. It shouldn't be synonymous. The N word should not be synonymous with man. Like, I don't know where we came to, where we basically degraded ourselves in such a way that we walk around calling our boyfriends your N word. Instead of saying my boyfriend or my man, you say my N word. And the guy who accepts that is, in all likelihood, the kind of guy who is going to give you the kind of relationship turmoil that you claim you don't want. And you chose to harbor that kind of mentality, to have that kind of sentiment. You chose to be sort of grouped into that ideology. That's not men's fault. That's your fault. The guy who's the guy who is the IT professional or the architect or the computer programmer, the guy that you looked at and said he doesn't dress good enough for you, doesn't have enough swag for you, maybe you've determined he doesn't make enough money for you. That's probably the guy who would have you believing that the relationship is not as terrible as you think it is. But those aren't the guys you consider, because your social engineering has told you that you need to be with an N word. And then when you repeat this pattern over and over again, expecting a different result, which is the literal definition of insanity, instead of gaining a little more self awareness, you say that the dating pool is pissy. Same thing with Shaq. So, I'm going to keep broaching these particular topics because I'm not here to be the arbiter of dating and say that dating is or is not bad. We all have our trials and tribulations when it comes to this single life out here. And I hear everything that you be saying about the streets because all of that is accurate. However, what I don't see or hear enough of is people looking themselves in the mirror and having a little more self awareness and accountability. You don't have to be dealing with a pissy dating scene if you don't want to be. You're choosing that because of your penchant for how you choose people to go on dates with. If you shifted your paradigm, you might get different results. But we don't want to do that. We want to fit square pegs into round holes. And when we see that it doesn't fit, we want to reserve the right to complain about it. And that is trying to have your cake and eat it too. And that's where people like her are out of her mind. People like Shaq is out of his mind. Shan Sharp is out of his mind. Safari is out of his mind. Some of my own personal friends who do this, they're out of their mind. Oh, I want to be married. I want to get married. I want to do this and I want to do that. But you're talking to the glorified sex workers in the club every week. And you think you're going to make a wife out of this bunch? Whose fault is that? Them or you? They were like that before you met them.
Right.
So people need more self-awareness. And of course, I'm not going to say I'm tired of hearing this because that would be a bit disingenuous. I use content for the channel, but the more I see goofy stuff like this, the more I'm going to broach it because people need to understand the value of self awareness. It does not have to be like this if you truly don't want it to be. And in my opinion, if you continue to do it, it is because deep down inside, you'll want it to be that way. So, as far as I'm concerned, Cardi B wants to deal with these guys. She wants to be in the streets. Shaq wants to keep talking to the Instagram slowers. That's what he really wants. And it makes himself look a little more gratifying to speak to the contrary in public, but deep down inside, that's what he wants. And so I think people need to be more honest. I'd have more respect for Shaq if he said, I'm going to be single for the rest of my life because I know that I'd rather continue to have soulless, meaningless, superficial relationships with Instagram models, adult film actresses, and sex workers. And I think Cardi B would get more respect from me if she said, hey, y'all, I don't know how to get out of my own way. I'd like to meet a better quality man, but I can't help myself. I like dating guys like Offset.
Right.
But don't sell me a dream that you want it to be different because you really don't. Your behavior says otherwise.
I mean, agreed, bro. And I think that's what a lot of the online complaining about, the dating market derives from, and it comes from which pool are you choosing to swim in? The one that is next to a waste facility, hence all the urine in there, or the one that's that's closed off with security and stuff like that, and it's nice and in a nice clean area. But that nice clean area is boring. It's not loud music being played over there. There's not alcohol being played over there. All of this fun stuff that's aesthetically pleasing is next to the one with all the sludge next to it. And so that's the one that everybody's attracted to. But why? Why would they be attracted to the one that's clearly next to a toxic plant, but they yearn for a clean, serene setting? And that division didn't come about from nowhere. Inherently, people want to be in that clean setting. They really do. That's a natural feeling that people just want to be at peace. But they were conditioned to want to be around toxicity. And so when people are too young to remember, they were watching cartoons, films, and other, forms of media that were steering their preferences in the wrong direction. Me and my old lady, we sitting down, we watching, we trying to find something to watch. And we scrolling and we see like some animated, cartoon type of thing. And, new age type of stuff. And I look at the rating, it's rated PG. And I said, man, when we was growing up, everything was rated G. And they still had adult jokes in those G movies. But everything was rated G. I'm not even going to click on this to see why it's PG. But it's PG for an animated thing for children. Everybody knows that they got weird stuff floating around in these new things anyway. But I'm bringing up this point to say is that when people have that inherent want to strive for peace, it gets interrupted. And then there's a detour that gets taken. And then now they're starting to have an appetite for toxic preferences. So from somewhere down the line, all of these people went left and they're all in this field, interacting with one another. When they finally get themselves a situation or they're around a person who comes from and lives in a more peaceful setting, they'll do it and it feels great. But something makes them want to go back to the toxicity. You can't just jump from one extreme to the next. You have to do a lot of deprogramming. You have to come all the way back down the road and then go all the way back up the clean one. You can't just jump from side to side, because at that point it doesn't make sense, and then you're just going to hop back over to the
Right.
toxic.
Right.
And so when these people want to have this inclination to just hop back into the streets, that's where it's coming from. People need therapists. That's what's really going on. Everybody has been conditioned on some BS bogus stuff. And even if you grew up in a house where things were calm and serene, you have a solid base. But a lot of the stuff that you was being entertained by and socialized by with peers and stuff and all that stuff, other stuff, it gave people these preferences for toxicity. So now Cardi B, let's say for instance, a Cardi B fan, she wants an Offset, but at the same time, she want a Cosby Show husband. And when she finally gets herself somebody that's calm, chill, you know what I'm saying, not too high, not too low, making money, everything's cool, but we don't fight enough. This is getting boring around here. My skin is itching. I got to get up out of here. Yeah, so then she goes and hits the streets again. So that's where everything's coming from. It's coming from people being wired the wrong way from a very long time. So just be careful of who you're dealing with. Through conversations, people can tell you where they've been, where they picked up certain levels of socialization. And then from there, you would have to make the decision to go, this person's crazy.
Mm-hmm.
Hey, they cool, but they don't even know what the hell they talking about. Because if they keep talking like this and I keep hanging around them, I'm going to find out they're actually in the piss pool. And this nerd over here, this boring person over here, this lame person over here, and all this other stuff, this person actually got themselves together. This is the safe spot. And so, but that you have to rewire your brain in order for that to make sense for you. So when you're dealing with somebody that don't even know what the hell I'm talking about right now, leave them alone, because they're dangerous, and they're going to show you real quick that they belong in the streets, and you somehow in the streets with them. So yeah, so these people, as you mentioned, do have a psychosis. And I'm not speaking above it, because if you go back further enough, 2 years of us streaming and stuff, you'll hear me spew some psychosis out here.
Oh, absolutely.
You know what I'm saying? And I had to rewire my brain. I had to change my preferences. I wasn't looking for the Glorrillas and Sexy Reds, but low key I was. So you really have to rewire your brain and see where you went left, and then from there recalibrate how you handle things. So that's a lot of steps for a lot of people. So just be mindful of who you're talking to and see if they have a mind of their own. But Cardi B doesn't.
No.
Okay.
No.
And so just stay away from these people and let them hang out in the piss pool together.
Yeah, that's absolutely right. She is emblematic of, I would say, the majority of us who got caught up in the rapture.
Yeah.
And it always struck me as interesting, albeit understanding. I never thought, well, I don't believe in coincidence. I don't believe that there is a such thing as coincidence. But I always knew that it was not a coincidence that every person who I knew who was comfortable with being in a stable relationship context, they didn't have the same interests as me. Right. Meaning they didn't listen to the same music I listened to growing up.
Right.
They really didn't watch the same kinds of entertainment movies and stuff that I watched growing up.
Correct.
But it was really the music. The music was a big thing. Like the one common thread that I can see between myself, who has struggled with this over time, I've gotten better with it, obviously, as I've gotten older, and others who just seem to get it. Like, I always wondered, how the hell is it that you get it? Like, when I went to college, I made friends with a lot of guys who just got it. Different races. They could be black, white, Hispanic, a couple of Asian guys I went to class with, and they just seemed to naturally get it. Like they had a girl, they were content. There wasn't this need to be out in the streets doing crazy stuff. They were good with it. Him and his girl, or them and their girl rather, they had a nice rapport. They support each other. They were both happy, and they did stuff together, and that is what it was. And I used to wonder to myself, why is it that it seems as though I don't get that, but they seem to have got, like, why am I getting this at almost 40 years old?
Right.
And it's like they got it when they were 18, 19. And as I got to know these individuals more and more over the course of time, I realized, oh, you don't even listen to the same music I listen to. You listen to what? I don't even know who that is.
Right.
Or your parents, your family did weekly game nights every week, or y'all had family vacations, or your parents made sure they took you to church every week. Y'all went to mass. I made a few friends who were Catholic. They was in mass every week. They was going to church twice a week. They were doing volunteering stuff. The point is, there are certain aspects of external stimuli that I realized I was exposed to that these individuals were not. And it factors greatly in terms of influencing how one perceives the viability of being in a relationship.
Yes.
The point overall is your perception of that viability is not a reflection of the other person. It is a reflection of you. And that's the part that people miss. They feel like it's a reflection of the other person. A guy's inability to get this, he feels as though it's a reflection upon women. No, it's not, bro. That's a reflection on you. Just like it was a reflection on me. I had to reconcile my personal insanity. It's not women's fault. It's mine. I made these choices. They didn't force this on me. I had plenty of opportunities to get out the game throughout my come up. I chose to go the other way. And now, in retrospect, I'm going to sit here and say the dating pool sucks. Nah, bro. I can't in good faith make that claim. I feel as though that would be a fool's errand to try and convince people of nonsense like that. And people really do need to understand that it's all about accountability and self-awareness. And I fully agree with you when it comes to the therapy angle. A person like Cardi B and women like her, they are, in my opinion, already off the wagon. And the only thing that's going to be able to rein them back in is a form of intervention, literally,
Yeah.
that sort of impresses upon them the idea that maybe if they thought about things in a different way, things would improve for them. They literally have to unravel all of those layers of psychosis over time in order to gain an understanding of how they are responsible for feeling as though the dating pool is pissy, not men. Because it's not every man who's going to make you feel that way. It's just the ones you want to be with.
Exactly.
So I hear you all the way on that. But the thing that needs to be had from this particular topic is stop the blame deflection. Self-awareness is perhaps the most important personal attribute that a person can maintain, and not enough of us maintain it, especially when it comes to how we perceive our relationship statuses. We are very quick to blame the other person. If we're men, we're very quick to say it's women's fault, and as women, they're very quick to say it's men's fault. And if you pierce the veil and ask them, okay, well, who do you be choosing? Where do you be going? What are some of your habits? What are some of your preferences? If you peel the layers on that back, you'll gain a very firm understanding of why they are that way, even if they don't see it.
Yep. And so, I mean, and to start this off, and much like how in the Shaq thing and the DDG conversation,
that's another one. Yeah.
There's gospel for different pools. So if you're in the urine pool, you better know that you're in the urine pool. All right, you can't sit there and sip that water. Okay, so know where you're at. Cardi B is in the urine pool, so she's speaking gospel. Shaq is in the urine pool. He's speaking gospel for where he's at. You can't trust women there. You just can't. DDG, same situation. You can't trust women in that pool. Why would you? That's how people drown. But just know that's not the only pool, and that's the whole conversation. You got to deal with the, those people are in the matrix, man. Those people in that dirty pool, they're in the matrix. And then you got to deal with yourself with somebody that's off the grid. And like you said, these people, and I noticed that too, man. I noticed that too from high school, college, people that I work with randomly, supervisors that I had. And I don't really divulge too much of my personal information with people I don't know. But as they're talking about their stuff or whatever, and there's certain levels of interest, and I'm like, wow, you really do that? Me, I'm already planning what club I'm going to that night. You know what I'm saying? I'm already game planning that. But that, I say, hey, man, what you getting into, man, this weekend? You know what I'm saying? And they say something real calm and conservative. And man, I'm sitting there going, bro, boy, you ain't got nothing going. Me, I'm going to be in these streets. But that person had a nice, calm situation at the house, a nice, calm, stable thing going. But me out here being in these streets, I was living in the toxic pool. So trust me, I done charted those waters enough to know that it ain't where it's at. And yeah, man, I had to change habits. I had to change certain things about myself in order to clean myself up. But my main thing was changing thought patterns. And like there would be things that I would see and prefer it right there. And I go, why are you preferring that right there? That's really not it. And I would have to track my thoughts, then go, hey, man, you're getting these thoughts from this. You can't listen to this as much. You can't watch that as much. That person that you thought had game and was speaking game was only speaking game in the toxic pool. So that's why it was facts. So now you're taking that toxicity so you can go swim in a toxic pool with facts in the toxic. Like you don't even have to be in that pool. So I had to really change a lot of ways that I thought. So, so I'm not speaking this holier than thou. I get it, man. Everybody caught this level of conditioning. So, but it's the people that have good habits that find themselves in a better pool. So, man, just stay vigilant out there, y'all. Stay sharp. And like I said in the Shaq situation, evaluate what you guys intake in. And even the stuff that we say here, you know what I'm saying? We ain't, as JV Wynn say, hey, man, we don't run a cult here. All right. But take the stuff that we say with a grain of salt. But at least the stuff that we're saying, all right, is telling you to think for yourself.
Yeah.
Yeah, man. So that's key. So, yeah, man, stay safe out there, y'all. It's dirty out there, but just make sure you're swimming in the right pool.
Yeah. And she needs to understand she's not swimming in the right one, or she needs to acknowledge that she is, and she needs to stop saying she's not. Like you just need to. You can't have it both ways, and too many of us lack self-awareness, and we try to have it both ways. So
just embrace the pool, Cardi.
Yeah, that's where you want to be, sweetheart. I think that's where you want to be. So just accept it. Just accept it. But good luck out there. It's wild, but hopefully we'll figure it out.
Stay safe, y'all.